What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of the 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best entertainment-related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. We've talked on the YouTube channel in the past, guys, about Starfield, one of the upcoming titles by Bethesda, which a lot of people are really excited about, even though we haven't heard a lot yet as far as, everything that the game encompasses. And we really haven't seen further clarification on, as far as like gameplay. We haven't seen even we've seen an announcement trailer, but we haven't necessarily seen like in-depth analysis of what's going on here in this world. And so with that, guys, I wanted to go ahead and do the top 5 things that we want in Starfield. And this is a very early edition of this, guys, because we don't know much as of yet about Starfield. But I will tell you that I'm very excited about this title, to say the least. And the 5 things that we want, I'm going to give you guys my opinions here. Some of you may agree, some of you may disagree. Let me know in the comment section down below what 5 things that you guys want to see in Starfield. So let's get into it. So to start off, guys, I think at number 1 for me is what I think is really important is obviously, and Bethesda being one of these companies that does this typically, they've kind of gone off a little bit from doing this, but having a fully fleshed out campaign I think is incredibly important for Starfield. Now, I'm assuming there will be a campaign here for Starfield, but we know from, other games in the past, we know more recently Fallout 76, being a multiplayer primary experience, I would much rather see Starfield kind of go back to what Bethesda knows how to do best, that being a really strong story here. So at number 1 for me, guys, is having a strong campaign, something that's really explaining, of course, everything that's going on in this world, where we're able to kind of really connect with characters and such, and kind of sets us up for a potential new franchise that Bethesda owns. Coming in at number 2 for me, guys, is a full open world setting. So I think when we look at, the games that Bethesda does really well, we look at Fallout, even though Fallout 76, I know people have their thoughts about that, whether positive or negative, but overall Fallout has been one of those franchises that has really done a great job of the open world setting. And so I think that people really want to see a continuation of that, of having elements of an open world where we're able to explore the world and really be able to traverse in one way or another, and having a multitude of different things to do along the journey that is the campaign and the experience of playing Starfield. So I'm hoping we get an open world setting, or open kind of space in space, so to speak, because it looks like there very well might be time that we're going to be doing in space, which is a possibility. We don't know that for sure yet, but either way, I just hope that we have like kind of free roam where we can really explore this world as a whole. Coming in, guys, at number 3 for me, another thing that I do think that is important when you're building a franchise from, the very, beginning foundations, I think it's important that you have a full package here, so it really attracts more and more people. So obviously having a campaign I think is going to be really important for, Starfield, but I also think having co-op as well as multiplayer experiences within Starfield is going to be really important. Now, we've seen, some successes with Bethesda, that being like Elder Scrolls Online, and we've seen some failures, that being Fallout 76, even though you can't necessarily say it's a full-blown failure, but at the end of the day, it was definitely not as well received as some of their other online modes. And so what I'll say with Starfield is, when you're starting this franchise, I think it's important that you start off with really justifying that $60 price tag, that this is going to be a fully fleshed out campaign, this is going to be co-op experiences and co-op missions, it's going to be multiplayer experiences where you can play with your friends or with other people out there. Whether it's called Starfield Online or something of that nature, we don't know, but I do think that having some form of multiplayer where after you're done with the main story, you can come back to Starfield and continue playing and experiencing this world from a multiplayer perspective, a co-op perspective, I think is going to be really important with this franchise moving forward. And then coming in, guys, at number 4 for me, I think with Starfield, we're talking about a game that seems like it's going to be dealt somewhat in space, and we don't know exactly what that's all going to entail, but I'm hoping at least that we get to explore multiple worlds. And so with that, guys, I'm hoping Starfield's one of those games where we're able to not only enjoy the experience from one planet, but we're also going to other planets out there. This seems to me, even though we just got very, just a sneak peek of this game as a whole, I think it's important that, and I think that it would be really great, even though it doesn't necessarily have to be, I would love to be able to explore this universe that they're creating in Starfield. I think it could be something really special, guys. I would love to be able to have, of course, different, locations, different types of environments, even different planets that we're exploring around. I think could be really special at the end of the day. And so I'm hoping that we're able to explore multiple worlds in Starfield. And, some of their other titles out there, that being Bethesda, I wouldn't say that you need to be exploring other worlds, but with Starfield and when this emphasis, it seems that there's going to be this space element to it, I think would be really special if you added that you're able to explore on multiple planets. And with that, guys, comes number 5. And I think with number 5, guys, we've seen this in the grand landscape of AAA titles out there. There are either elements or they are completely free to play. And what I will say is with Starfield, I'm not anticipating a fully free-to-play game here. I'm expecting we're going to have to pay the $60 price tag for Starfield, but what I would like to see is free-to-play elements of Starfield, that being like the Starfield Online elements, or something of that nature where it's free-to-play that more and more people can at least try it out. I also think it's going to be really important moving forward in the gaming industry for new games and new IPs that are coming out to have ways that they're really able to get more and more people to try the game out. Even a game that, more recently, a Battle Royale game called Hyperscape came out by Ubisoft, and this is a game that's another free-to-play experience. And the fact of the matter is it might not be as big as, say, Fortnite or Call of Duty Warzone or, some of these other free-to-play Battle Royales or just free-to-play games in general. However, more and more people are at least trying it out, and I'm sure that's really, paying off for Ubisoft in the end. But what I'm getting at is if Starfield has free-to-play elements like the multiplayer experiences, you're going to have more and more people come and try it, and then you're going to have more and more people that stay there that are concurrent players, and, they come back over and over again after being the campaign, or they just enjoy the multiplayer. Whatever the case might be, I think having free-to-play elements to this game is going to be a great way to start off this franchise. But those are my 5 things that I want to see in Starfield, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below what your top 5 things are that you want to see in Starfield. Let's have a real conversation about it. And for more Starfield content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. Ghost of Tsushima, guys, is one of my most anticipated games of the year, and I haven't gotten my hands-on experience with the game as of yet. However, I've been watching a number of people stream the game on Twitch, and watched, of course, a number of reviews that have come out about this game, and I will say that Ghost of Tsushima is one of the most beautiful looking games that I've ever seen on the PlayStation 4. I mean, when I look at this game, guys, as a whole, and what I have, from everything that I've seen so far about the game and from watching different, streamers out there stream, it is something really special. I think that this is a game that what I'm hoping that we see a full-blown franchise come from Ghost of Tsushima, because Sucker Punch really knocked it out of the park when it comes to the sheer beauty of this game. It's absolutely stunning, guys. Ghost of Tsushima, of course, now with this game coming, being out at this point in time, and people being able to get their hands-on experience with the game. I haven't started it as of yet, but from what I have seen, guys, and I'll be giving you guys a review of Ghost of Tsushima after I get to be able to play the game all the way through. But this game is incredibly stunning from a number of perspectives. I mean, that's the main thing that I'll say about it. Now, the story and such, the story is pretty visceral. It seems like it's a pretty, certainly an interesting story about a period of time in history, which it's fictional, but at the end of the day, it also, the elements of it, it's based on, true, a true story, but, with certain fictional characters, of course. But with that, Ghost of Tsushima, guys, I think has a real opportunity, and I don't know if Sucker Punch has any plans to make this into a full-blown franchise, and we'll have to wait and see what type of sales come out of Ghost of Tsushima, but from what it sounds like, it's doing pretty well. from, just a marketing perspective, from the perspective of, copies sold at this point in time, it sounds like it's a pretty big success so far. We'll have to kind of wait and see, though, as we hear from Sony. But Sucker Punch, I believe, has a pretty awesome opportunity here to make something special out of this game and maybe make it into a full-blown franchise potentially. I'm not sure if that's the direction that they want to go in, obviously. We don't know whether or not, Sucker Punch wants to make this into a franchise, if they want to just do this as one game and then they'll kind of move on from here. But it really feels to me that they have something special here. And even if they decide to move on from Ghost of Tsushima, I will be very intrigued to see what they do next, because the sheer beauty and such of this, moving us into the next generation consoles, imagine the next project that they work on. If it's anything like this, guys, man, I will be very excited to pick up that copy of whatever the game might be from Sucker Punch. But with that, Ghost of Tsushima at this point, guys, is one of the most stunning games I have seen to date on the PlayStation, as far as it being a PlayStation exclusive and such. It looks like an incredible story, and I'll be sure to give you guys more information and more thoughts on it as I start going through the story. But let me know, guys, what are your initial thoughts of Ghost of Tsushima? Do some of you already have it? Have you been playing it? Have you beaten it already? Let me know what your guys' thoughts on the game are in the comment section down below. And for more Ghost of Tsushima content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. Now that we got official confirmation of the new Far Cry game, guys, I wanted to go ahead and talk about everything that we know now about Far Cry 6, and I thought that this would be really exciting because I'm incredibly excited, guys, to say the least, about Far Cry 6, this upcoming game that's coming out in February of 2021. Let me know what you guys are most excited about in the comment section down below about Far Cry 6, and let's get into this thing. In an article, guys, that was written by Don Riesinger of Digital Trends, Ubisoft unveiled Far Cry 6 at its Ubisoft Forward live stream and paved the way for a variety of new details to surface. Far Cry 6 star and Breaking Bad actor Giancarlo Esposito joined Ubisoft this weekend in sharing information about the title's gameplay and some of the creative decisions Ubisoft made. And so, what is this game about, guys? Far Cry 6 will tell the story of a dictator named Anson Castillo trying to rule his island nation of Yara as freedom fighters fight to take control of the country. Gamers will play the role of a resistance fighter named Danny Rojas as Castillo uses propaganda to subject his people and prepare his son Diego to rule in the future. In an interview with Game Rant, Far Cry 6 narrative director Navid Kavari said the game will be set in present day but will look like the 1960s because Yara has been frozen in time since then. Kavari hinted that everything from the game's weapons to vehicles will be from the period. And so what's interesting, guys, is that frozen in time. I don't know exactly what that means, but this is going to be interesting because when he says frozen in time, you start to wonder, are we going to be dealing with time here? People have been bringing up this idea that Diego is actually a young Voss, and people were wondering, how is this going to happen? Because it looks like some of the technology from the trailer, Diego is actually using what looks to be a smartphone in the trailer, or at least the smartphone's plugged in. And so Voss in Far Cry 3 was certainly not in the time period of when we, of course, had, cell phones and things of that nature. However, if we're talking about frozen in time, are we talking about time travel in one way or another? That could be a conversation for another day. Far Cry 6 launch date. Far Cry 6 is slated to launch on February 18, 2021. The game will be available on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC. So that's exciting, guys. It's going to be at least coming to the next-gen consoles as well as current gen. Far Cry 6 setting. The game's Yara environment was inspired by modern-day Cuba. Kavari said his team was inspired by and has spent 4 years developing Far Cry 6 and visited Cuba to get a sense of how they could recreate it. I spent about a month down there with the team circumnavigating the island, Kavari said. We got to meet so many amazing people and experience the music and the culture, and we also met actual former guerrillas, and that was what really was the jumping off point. Now, as far as the gameplay is concerned, guys, Ubisoft hasn't shared many details about Far Cry 6 gameplay, but the game's screenshots reveal first-person shooting in a variety of locales locales ranging from small neighborhoods to urban environments. Kavari said the game centers on guerrilla warfare and that players will find a verticality throughout the game, suggesting that fighting won't only happen on the ground. Being able to run across rooftops, use back alleys, fight against some of the toughest opponents in the game in this setting, I think is really unique and fresh. Now, as far as the key characters go, guys, players can decide whether the game's playable character, Danny Rojas, is male or female when the story starts. Unlike the protagonists in Far Cry 5 and Far Cry New Dawn, Rojas will have a voice, and Ubisoft said the game will also tell Rojas's story. And so, as far as that all goes, guys, it seems to be that the game's villain, Anton Castillo, is of course voiced by Giancarlo Esposito, who played Gus Fring in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. There's also a dog in the game named Chorizo that will play some sort of role in the storyline. Ubisoft's Kavari was coy about Chorizo's role when asked about him. The tease for him is that he literally kills with kindness. That's all I'm going to say, he said. And I got to say, guys, Chorizo is really, looks to be a really awesome character. It's a dog, of course, in like a little dog wheelchair, but it seems like he could definitely have an attitude. There haven't been many Far Cry 6 rumors so far, but Esposito may have let an important one slip. In an interview with Hypebeast, Esposito said his performance required him doing multiple takes for multiple different endgames, suggesting the game may have several possible endings. And I would say, guys, if we think of Far Cry 5, we know that there were multiple open-ended endings there. They look like they are probably going to continue doing that here in this game, Far Cry 6. And I'm wondering, guys, if they're going to try to tie these games together in one way, shape, or form, whether it's to Far Cry 3, to Far Cry 5, it should be very interesting. And then, of course, guys, there's a number of different editions that are going to be coming out, guys, for Far Cry 6. You know, they have pre-order bonuses, special editions, and things of that nature. But what I will say about this game as a whole, guys, is that I'm looking very much so forward to it. I think that Far Cry 6 has a ton of potential to be the best Far Cry to date. Because for me personally, guys, I really enjoyed Far Cry 5. I really enjoyed the story that they told with Far Cry 5. I'm excited to see what they do here with Far Cry 6. I think Giancarlo Esposito is the perfect villain for Far Cry 6. I love the setting here. You're going back to somewhat of a tropical type setting, but our first urban environment at the exact same time, first capital city. I think there's a number of things here that show us that there's going to be more of the same from the Far Cry franchise here in this game, but there's going to be some significant differences, which I'm really excited to at least explore more. I can't wait to get more information, guys, and I'll be sure to pass it all along to you as that information comes out. Let me know what you guys are most excited about with Far Cry 6 in the comment section down below. And for more Far Cry 6 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. We've talked on the YouTube channel about Rage in this franchise, guys, that we're hoping has a continuation at some point or another in the future. Coming off of Rage 2, guys, I think there's a number of things that we would like to see change, some things we want to continue from Rage 2, but in this segment of the show, I want to talk about the top 5 things that we want in Rage 3. And when I say we, guys, I'm going to be giving you guys my opinions. Some of you may agree, some of you may disagree with my thoughts and opinions here, but I would love to hear what you guys think regardless in the comment section down below, what the top 5 things that you guys would like to see in Rage 3. So let's get into it. So coming in, guys, at number 1 for me is I would like, Rage 3 to be the conclusion of the trilogy. Now, does that mean I want Rage to end after this? Absolutely not. I would like to see a continuation. I think this could be a really long withstanding franchise, but I would love to see them conclude the first trilogy in this franchise with Rage 3. I'd like to see a conclusion here of the story. They kind of wrap up some loose ends and such, and then, of course, we can kind of move forward, whether they want to continue to Rage 4, however they decide to do it. I'd like to kind of like tie up some loose ends here and kind of see what, as far as from a storytelling perspective, what happens in the end here with this, out of these first few games. Coming in at number 2 for me, guys, a big complaint a lot of people had about Rage 2 was there not being a lot of things to do along the journey or along the campaign, the story within Rage 2. And so what I'd like to see is more things to do along the journey, more side missions, more just things that you're able to do along the course of the journey, maybe making it a little bit more, not so much of a wasteland, so to speak, even though we know it's a wasteland overall. I would like there to be some variety of different locations and new environments, new places to explore and check out. That goes along with like new enemies and even new characters that we can be introduced to. Also, having existing characters, existing locations and stuff is important, but I think it's really important that they separate themselves from what was Rage 2 to now, where there's just more things to do along the journey, and those things aren't repetitive. Those things are different time and time again, between side missions and just things to do along the journey. At number 3 for me, guys, is multiplayer and co-op. I think is a big deal here. I would love to see like a Rage Online kind of aspect where we're able to play co-op, with our friends, whether we want to play from a multiplayer perspective or if we want to go ahead and play, co-op missions, whatever it might be. This is a game that's primed to have like different multiplayer experiences, whether you're talking about, cookie cutter team deathmatch, or if you are talking about more things that are based around the Rage franchise. I think having more modes, guys, after you're done with the campaign as a whole, I think it's important that there's more ways we're able to connect with the franchise, making this a full package, guys, so after you're done with the campaign, you can keep coming back to play the multiplayer, the co-op missions, and things of that nature. That kind of leads on to the developers continuing to, service the game and continue to add things along the way to justify that $60 price tag. At number 4, guys, I think it's really important that there is more customization throughout the course of this game. Now, look, you look at games like Borderlands where it's like a full-blown looter shooter. I would love to see ways that we're able to customize our weapons more with the stuff that we pick up throughout the world. I would love to see us be able to customize our characters more. That kind of leads us into the multiplayer aspect as well, where you're able to customize your characters, earn things throughout the course of the journey, but also just more ways you can customize your character, your weapons, your vehicles, things of that nature. Just add value to playing the game on on a consistent basis, putting in a lot of hours, guys, so that you're able to make all those really cool customization features and such. And I'm not even talking so much about the payable items. I'm talking about the things that you can earn. That leads me to number 5, guys, which is earnable items within the campaign as well as the multiplayer. Having it all like kind of as one, ecosystem where we're able to earn things within the campaign and those translate over to the multiplayer. You earn those things in the multiplayer, those translate over to campaign, whatever the case might be. I think it's important, guys, with a game like this, when you have multiplayer elements, to have earnable items over that of payable items. The things that you can earn within the game, that you can see other people have earned in the in-game lobbies before a match starts, or they get to see what you've earned. It shows how much time you've put in and such, and that's what I think makes it really special and something that brings people back to a title like Rage, would be earnable items over that of things that you can just pay for. And we know, guys, that in the past, microtransactions and things of that nature, they just get a lot of these games and developers and such into a lot of trouble. So it's like having earnable items, I believe, is just a perfect way to bring people back to the game over and over again. But those, guys, are my top 5 things that I want to see in Rage 3. What are the top 5 things that you guys want to see? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Rage 3 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.